Welcome everybody back to the CUNTY Life and Biz Realness podcast. Today I am joined by a fabulous guest interviewee, and I'm so excited for you all to get to know Dr. Kimberly Brown. I'm going to let you introduce yourself, Dr. Kimberly. Tell the people who you are, how you bless this earth, and how you show up in the world, and how you bless these people. Tell them.
Well, that was the best introduction to be having an introduction that I've ever had.
Good.
Thank you, Naomi. My name is Kimberly Brown. You can always call me Kim. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a human being, first of all. Um,
Yes.
for
Yes. We love
career
that.
purposes, I am a emergency physician by day. By night, I have two other businesses that have nothing to do with medicine. One, I'm also a business coach. I have a program from Side Hustla to CEO that helps historically marginalized doctors transition out of clinical medicine and start their own non-clinical empire. And I'm also the CEO and
Yes.
founder of Sherwood Properties. We are a midterm rental business based in Memphis, Tennessee, and we really serve traveling medical and business professionals coming to the area as well too. So that's me in a nutshell.
Amazing. Did you all catch that? Like, what a bio, what a human being, as you said. Like, there are so many parts of you that are just of such high service. And it's such a pleasure to be here with you today and to talk. And I'm excited to hear your stories that you share. And I'm excited for our listeners to just be exposed and introduced to yet another incredibly cunty human being who is showing up day after day, being courageous, unapologetic, notable, transcendent, and you authentically what that means to you. I'm so excited to get into it. First, I'll tell the people really briefly how we met. We met at the Hello 7 coaching certification intensive in Atlanta last year. It was incredible. Kimberly helped me get out of my shell and over my fear of going live a little bit. Like I had that, a lot of us have that fear of going live. And Kimberly helped me go live and share about the CUNTY model. If you go to my Instagram, you'll see that post. And that moment was such a gift to me, and I'm so grateful. And it's just been such a pleasure seeing Kimberly take the coaching certification and grow with it and continue to serve your community. It's so absolutely beautiful, and I can't wait for our interview. Yay.
That
Right.
moment in Atlanta, first of all, I can't believe that was last year. It feels just like yesterday though,
I know.
because I guess we were talking about this moment before we started recording, but
Mhm.
I was so attracted to your effervescence. Like
Mm.
you're such a light anytime you enter the room. And when you started telling me about your business, what Coach Cunty is, what that stood for, because at first I was like, Tia,
What?
the fuck? What you mean, Cunty? I mean, I'm with it, but like,
Yeah.
also, what the hell is it?
Yeah.
And so when you broke it down for me, I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Like, no,
Mm.
called to so many different parts of me. I'm like, why are you not telling
Mm.
more people about this? I'm confused.
Right, right.
Everybody's looking for this. Like, I need this more
Yeah.
myself. So go tell more
Mm.
people. So,
Oh, I'm so
yeah.
grateful for that. Thank you so much. Like, and I think part of it is that Cunty was born last year. Like that, yet last year is when I really created this model. It's where I
Mm,
started to tell it into the world, speak it into existence. So it was still that like getting over the fears that were associated. It was like really still that process, right? That building, that growing, that self-confidence. We all need that, right? As we put our businesses into the world, we all come up against some of these feelings. And especially with a thing like Cunty, I had those things still holding me back. Now I don't. Now I'm like full force, like let's get
right.
this Cunty revolution. It's so needed. Like we're here for it. But your help with that was all part of that process, and you helping me with that has led to me here, and it will lead to even more in the future. Like that's a story that I will continue to tell. So
I'm so
thank you
glad to
so
be
much.
a part of it. You're welcome.
Uh,
You're so welcome.
and
I'm just happy to be here.
I'm so happy to have you. And I swear, like, enough about me. I want to hear more about you. And so do our listeners. So, this podcast, as you know, it's all about telling our stories so
Mhm.
that other people can feel seen and so that other people can allow themselves to tell their stories and to be present in their stories, to appreciate their stories and to put them into the world and like own it, and be
Yeah.
and live that cunty energy, like permission to be here. And it's through storytelling that we do a lot of that because we don't see a lot of ourselves out there represented. Like we have to
Mhm.
be that for each other. I
Mhm.
don't know if you resonate with that.
Mhm.
But
100%.
that's been a lot of my journey. So the first question that I ask all of my precious guests that I have come on the podcast is, what does it look like to be cunty in your day-to-day life? How does that show up for you? What does it mean? How do you like em- embody that energy? And it can be anything, right? So it's like it's rooting into the what cunty means. It's like courageous,
Mhm.
unapologetic, notable, transcendent, and you authentically. I just want to reiterate that because sometimes people associate cunty energy with just like high energy, like,
Mhm.
and it's not always that. It can be a quieter energy. It can be anything. So that's why I
Mhm.
want to know, like, what does courage look like to you in your day to day? What does
Mhm.
unapologetic look like? All those components.
Mhm. My mind just immediately took to where I am currently in my life. So, yes, I'm an emergency physician. People have all kinds of thoughts about what physicians and what doctors are and what we do and how our lives look, how much money
Mhm.
we make, our
Mm.
satisfaction. And so being an emergency physician that practices on my own terms means a lot to me. So, briefly, because I realize the vast majority of people probably do not understand or not are part of the medical world.
Yeah.
Some of us are, of course, we spend years and years and years becoming doctors. We go to undergrad, then
Yes.
we go to medical school, then we go to residency, and
Mhm.
residency is anywhere between 3 to 7 years. Sometimes you can do fellowship, which is an additional sub
Wow.
training that could be 1 to 3 years in addition to that. And then we're thrust into this world of practicing medicine. And
Wow.
we go into the field because we want to help people. Like, I don't know anybody in medicine that truly did not start off saying, like, I wanted to either learn the human body, I want to help other human beings,
Right.
all of those things. But what is not being told is that the system is very patriarchal, very oppressive.
Mhm.
It was
Mhm.
built on the bodies of Black and brown people from all of our
Yes.
research, from especially OBGYN. People
Mhm.
still are feeling the effects and know exactly what the Tuskegee experiment
Mhm.
did and done. We just came out of COVID-19, where still it showed even more people that just did not have a trust of our system. And
Mhm.
honestly, the system is not endearing any trust um,
Yeah.
to the
And
general
with
public.
the Black maternal health crisis as well. So in maternal and postpartum health as well, which is my background. That's where I come from.
Yes.
But continue on, continue.
But along that same lines, as a Black woman in America, it doesn't matter like how many degrees I have, it doesn't matter how many zeros I have in my bank account. Statistically, me as a Black woman has a very high rate of or chance of dying in childbirth
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
some sort of a pregnancy complication. So
Mhm.
that all being said, that knowing that as a healer in the health allegedly
Mhm.
system
Mhm.
and know how broken that system is, it's very disempowering. And so, but I see the ability of how I can help, and I do help people every day. But being
Mhm.
able to practice on my own terms means I am not contracted to work at a specific place with a specific group of people at a specific group of time. I'm not
Right.
required to just put up with a certain salary or a certain set of conditions. that are not healthy for me or not safe for me or patients for that matter.
Yeah.
And so being able to practice as a locum tenens physician, which means that I travel to practice
Okay.
medicine, is how one of the ways that I show up as Cunty in this life because
Yes.
yes, I spent the vast majority of my life wanting to and then becoming a doctor. So
Mhm,
I learned about 6 months after I finished residency that this was not the life that I was going to enjoy. The system, the pattern, how the nitty gritty of the healthcare machine works. I didn't want to be a part of that long term. And so that
mhm.
set me even further on my journey of okay, if I don't want to practice medicine until I'm like 65, then what else am I going to do? And
Yes.
how do I reimagine what I want my life to be? And not even reimagine, how do I just imagine
Imagine
what I
it.
like want my
Mm.
life to be? Because like
Mhm.
I said, I spent so many years trying to be a doctor. And so now when
Yeah.
I actually became that, it's like I literally had the, oh, well, now what do I do?
Right. And so my next question was, how did you find out about that cunty path that you took? Locum, what did you call it? Locum tenant doctor? Is that right? Physician?
L Locum tenens, but for short, everybody
Okay.
just says locums. The
Okay.
equivalent it's the equivalent to travel nursing, but we're doctors, so it's called locum.
Mhm.
So it's
Mhm.
traveling doctors, same thing.
Mhm.
Um,
Did you have like a
Locums,
mentor or something?
I had several people that I know that, do locums. That's what we say, we do locums. So basically there are either a pediatrician or anesthesiologist or emergency physicians as well too, any type of specialty. And
Mhm.
they were doing that and really celebrating that the freedom that they were able to have. They were able to make their own schedules. They
Mhm.
decided to take contracts, whether, it was working for what they wanted to make. They can pick what part of the country they want to work in. And you're not tied to anything. It's very much when you're there, you're there. You're not. And you're able to
Mhm.
really have your own sense of empowerment. So seeing other people doing that let me know that, okay, this is an option. I don't have to feel like I need to go find one place to be and just work this little contract and be unhappy. Yeah, that showed me the freedom that
Yeah.
I had to the opportunity to have.
That's amazing. I can't help but wonder, like, was that ever mentioned in medical school? Like, did other people know about that option? Or is it basically like luck if you know someone who's doing it? Or like, do people know about this?
They know it's not talked about in medical school. For my
Mhm.
specialty, emergency medicine, it is talked about in residency. So when you're in training as options when you
Mhm.
finish what you can do. Um, but there's a lot of stigma, I think, around locums because
Mm.
in the past, there's been, and even present, let me just be honest with you. Um,
Yeah.
there's some doctors that are not very good. And if they can't cut it, these are
They
the
go somewhere
facts.
else.
Right. If they can't cut it in one place, then a lot of times then they're asked to leave hospitals. And so
Mhm.
locums has been a bridge point for a lot of people that maybe have had a tough time in
Mhm.
hospital settings where they I don't know, some other things have happened where they couldn't stay on a contract there full time. So it has a stigma to it.
Mm.
However, now I believe that it's become a more viable career path and a career option for doctors where we're hearing a lot more about it a lot earlier in our career
Mm.
because people want their time freedom back, because people want that
Mhm.
flexibility. So it still has that stigma, but it's getting
Mhm.
much better. And like I said, more people are going into locums right away when they finish residency.
I love that so much. And I love okay, because it's so cunty, right? And also because there's so many parallels that I can draw with so many other things that were once stigmatized, right? Like I think about the word cunt, right? Like let's just start
Mhm.
from there. The history of the word cunt in the beginning, it was not a swear word. It was not a bad word. It was absolutely normal, just another word for vulva, pussy, yoni, whatever. And then of course the patriarchy and white supremacy and everything was like, no, we're gonna demonize this and we're gonna
Mhm,
stigmatize it. Same with sex, same with all of those liberation things, right? Which
mhm.
this
Yep.
is very tied to liberatory practice, right? And it got that stigma, and now we're unpacking so much stigma around various things and reclaiming so much that is available to us, uncovering the like shroud of secrecy and like the not talking about it. So I love that it's getting more talked about, that it's losing that stigma more. I'm so here for it, and I'm so here for you talking about it. First of all, I don't know if any of our listeners are doctors, but I hope so, right? I hope someone here is listening of like, wow, I love this. Like I love this shedding light on it. I love this dropping the stigma. I'm here for it. And that's what we're all about here in the Cuntyverse, here on the podcast. So I love that so much. Literally embodying it day after day and not letting some stigma like
Mhm.
hold you back from doing liberatory work.
When you were talking about the source of the word, "cunt" and what it originally meant, I had been doing even a little bit more background research, not about cuntiness, but just things in general. And
Mhm.
Kundalini yoga keeps coming up,
Mhm.
which of course people have said is Kundalini yoga if you go really back to the
Wow.
original terms of it. But it's that
Wow.
same, and I'm not a yogi, I'm still learning, but
Yeah.
the thought process of Kundalini yoga is to awaken the serpent, to awaken that inner
Mm.
power
Mm.
inside of you. And so
Wow.
knowing
Wow.
that your cunt as a woman,
Yeah.
your vagina, your vulva, your reproductive system is your source of power, and letting that
Mhm.
power, like if you look up Kundalini awakenings, you'll see like a lot of serpentine stuff and people kind of wiggling because it's that essence of that coming out of you, like you said, that liberation,
Mm.
that freedom. So even when you
I love that.
said, just looking back at what the root and what the source of what the cunt is, like, because of this patriarchal system that continues to tell women that we do not have power, they're trying to strip us
Mhm.
from our power because they know the power inside. We have the life-giving force,
Yeah.
literally.
Yes.
There's not a
Yes.
man that lays up and pushes out another human being into the world. It is a
Nope.
woman. We are the portal.
Yeah.
We are the life-giving
Yeah.
source. But our
Yeah.
system, but the world,
Trans
be it
trans men not included. We love you, trans men, okay? You are
yes.
included in the conversation, but we mean cis het men not happening.
Correct, I'm sorry.
Continue,
Let
sorry.
me be clear about that. Yes, no, absolutely. But we are the portal into the world, and
Mhm.
so, um,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
so easy to
That's
forget that, and so that's part of
Mhm.
the reason why I'm so glad that Cunty coaching exists, because that
Yeah.
also helps us to remind ourselves that to awaken that Cunty power in us, that Kundalini power, if we wanna say it in the Hindu
Yes.
way as well too, so I
Yes.
love that. I'm
Mm.
just here for all of this.
Oh my god, thank you for sharing that. That just awoken something in me, honey, cuz I did not know that. And now I'm like, I have homework to do and I am excited to research this. I was just talking to someone yesterday about tantra and about awakening this very similar like creative um
Yes.
power. Oh, it's a whole world, and I'm so glad and honored to be in it and to kind of assemble the people who are ready for this kind of liberation, who are ready for to say just fuck you to all of the
Yeah.
systems and things that have told us to not, right? And to told us to stay in line and to not use
Mhm.
our voice and to not stand out and to, just be a good girl and whatever. Like
Yeah.
fuck all that. And that's why I swear too much too. Like it's not just I love swearing, but also like I want people to know that they don't have to censor themselves here. Like this
Mm.
is such a big part of it is like we are free. No one's going to say bad bad bad. You
Right.
shouldn't say that, right? Like that is part of it. It's all part of it is being able to speak our truth even if it's not what society tells us to do or not to do. Ooh, I just went on a whole
No, but you preaching, but you telling the truth because I think it goes back to what you originally asked me about,
Mm,
like, how do I show up as cunty in my everyday life? And I just think
yes.
about, yes, in the hospital, but I feel like I'm almost a cunty person just living in just like this very cold, dark, bland universe because I sit on
Yes.
the board of an organization for my specialty. And even though I think emergency physicians, and we are personality wise, the coolest doctors you'll ever meet because we have to relate with so many
Amazing.
different people.
Yeah, that's
But it
amazing.
is still a very white male dominated
Mm,
specialty. And so
mm,
sitting on this board as the only Black woman
mm.
is interesting. I'm just gonna use that word interesting. It's very
Yeah.
I'm trying to find my space. I'm trying to fit in but not fit in,
Mm,
and at the same
mm,
time it's this whole thing, but I feel every time I'm around them, I'm like, okay, because y'all are so bland and so predictable, like I have to be
mm.
unpredictable. If y'all are all gonna wear black, I'm gonna wear hot pink. And like,
Yes.
because it's like, I want people to know that they don't have to show up a certain way. People always
Yes.
expect me to be a certain way because, oh, she's a doctor. And what is that gonna be? I'm
Mm,
just like, I don't even introduce myself as a doctor to people unless I'm at work. At
mhm,
first, like, oh, hey, I'm Kim, and let you get to
mhm.
know me first, and
Yeah.
then tell you that because there's so many different, like I said, stigmas and assumptions
Yeah.
and even truth. Like I said, people do just try to live in the box and check the boxes and try
Mhm.
not to ruffle any feathers. And I'm just like, no, I'm
Yeah.
ruffling all your feathers. I'm doing all that.
Yes,
We gonna
yes.
mess all of this up.
So here for the ruffling of the feathers. I fucking love that so much, and I'd love to ask for the audience that's
Mhm,
listening, whether they're doctors or not, if they're in a
mhm.
profession, or I mean, most people who are listening are entrepreneurs, but if they're also in a profession where they feel like they're constantly sticking out, or they feel like it's bland or just boxy all around, like what would be your top tip for not losing your nerve and not losing that individuality and that cunty power to like be your true self and to ruffle the feathers and be who you truly are? What would be your top tip for people?
Create what you want.
Mm,
Um,
yes,
and
don't
this
wait
goes
for
back
someone else to create
into,
it.
yeah, just create what you want. So I finished residency in 2018. I started, of course, working pretty much right away. A lot of times people have the liberty after they finish residency to take a break and just because they're so tired of education and doing all the things. I did not because I was broke.
Mm.
So I
Mhm.
started getting into work right away. And like I said, knowing that I wasn't already happy, I started to just do things that made me happy. So in
Mhm.
2018, I just gave myself full permission to do whatever I felt like I missed along the journey. I was on TV, I wrote
Wow.
books, I traveled, I dabbled in creating different businesses. I enjoyed myself and I really decided to, now that I don't have a prescribed path that I have to follow anymore because I've achieved the goal, whatever it
Mhm.
is I wanted to do, I started doing that. Even up
Where
until 2020, when the pandemic
yeah.
started, um, that's when I started feeling that, okay, what's going on here? That's when the system really started to burn me out because as an
Mm.
emergency physician, I'm on the front line of this.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so they were demanding more of my time. They were asking me to travel, of course, because I'm a traveling doctor. But that
Mhm.
time was so scary for me and scary for everybody. Let me
Mhm.
not just,
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
like I wasn't scared. Like, let me be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so that that time created a lot of burnout in me because I felt like my employer was not understanding where I was. My schedule was not to where I could control it.
Mhm.
And then I was practicing in a part of America where they didn't even believe that COVID was real.
Mm.
This was no, I don't care. I don't, sorry, I'm a political person, but it was Trump country USA.
Yeah.
And people had a lot of thoughts about me as a Black woman physician, had a lot of thoughts about everything that was going on. This was also George Floyd. This is also
Mhm.
everything else that was going
Yes.
on with Breonna Taylor.
Yes.
It was a very rough time for me as a woman. And
Yeah.
then other things that I had going on personally, it caused me to burn out. And
Yes.
2 years out of residency, that typically doesn't happen. So saying all that to say, again, to create what you want, I took that
Mm.
burnout and decided to make it into a company, which is Sherwood Properties. I was not able to
Wow.
stay in places that made me feel safe, that made me
Mm.
feel comfortable, that allowed me to refresh and renew myself because I had so much uncertainty going on around me. And
Mhm.
so I started creating that with my rental properties. I was already investing in some real estate. It wasn't going the way I wanted to go. So I changed the model into what I have now. And that's when things rocketed. And I was
Mm.
able to make six figures in a year in that company
Amazing.
because, like I said, I created what I wanted and I created what I knew somebody else needed. Just create what you want and create what you need because you're
Mhm.
experiencing these feelings for a reason and it's not just for
Mm.
you.
Mm.
Especially if you're an entrepreneur,
Yes.
if you feel like you're someone that is called to do something different in your life, then you're experiencing those things for a reason and you're not alone in that. And
Mhm.
most people don't take that pain and look at it
Mhm.
as a positive or try to turn
Right.
it into a positive. Um,
Right.
so that's what I was just saying. That's all.
Mm. Oh, that's so, so powerful. Like taking burnout, I relate to that a lot because what I'm currently going through a very different version of that, but still rooted in that idea of like burning out. And it's often because we feel like we don't have control. I feel like that probably has a lot to do with it. Like that, I heard that from your story too. It was like a lot of factors felt out of your control, and I think that can really contribute to burnout. So you created Sherwood Properties out of this pain that you had. What is it? What is Tell the people what it
Yes.
is.
So Sherwood Properties is my midterm rental business. We're based in Memphis, Tennessee. Um, For the layman people, it's an Airbnb business.
Mhm.
Even though we are not currently listed on Airbnb, but it is a
Yeah.
midterm, short-term rental. So if you are traveling to the Memphis area for work, then come on and stay with us. We have 5 beautifully fully furnished apartments located in the heart of Memphis. But more specifically, each one of my rental properties was designed by me and
Mm.
designed specifically for healing because
Mm.
I understand people that travel for work have so much that's not under their control. And so when they
Mhm.
come back to their place, whether it's a hotel, whether it's a midterm rental, whether it's a rental house, they want to be able to relax, unwind, decompress, like just be able
Yeah.
to be for a minute and not have to actually
Yes.
do something or answer. So each one of my
Yes.
rental properties evokes some sort of a feeling, whether it's calmness, whether it's joy, whether it's energy. Um, each one of those things
Wow.
does that because it comes from me knowing what someone needs. Even in healthcare,
Mhm.
70% or more of emergency physicians, period, are burnt out right now. Almost all of us are
Mm.
burnt out. And especially if we
Yeah.
travel, it's probably like more like 90% of us are burnt out. So
Wow.
being able to know that experience for myself and then being able to pull on my thoughts of color psychology and um, really making a home comfortable and of course the real estate, I'm able to pull all of my interests and all of my talents and then to put it into this business. And I found out a couple months after I started the business, because Sherwood, you're like, where the hell is Sherwood? Why is it called Sherwood? Sherwood was my grandfather's name. I never got a chance to meet him while he was here on this earth. He passed away a couple years before I was
Mhm.
born, but I've always felt very connected to him. And my mother always told me stories, and still tells me stories about him. So
Aw.
I named the business that because I wanted it to be a family legacy, and then only to
Mm.
find out that, girl, they didn't call it coaching back then, but he was a coach. He was an entrepreneur. He had his own real estate
Right.
investment stuff. So to feel
Wow.
and to know that I'm living my grandfather's legacy was is really powerful for me too. So healing.
Wow. Ooh, so, so, so good. So cunty. I love it so much. I'm curious still, like when you were living what it sounds like living your best life, doing those things that you wanted to do that you described. How did you find that permission to give to yourself? Because society isn't out here just giving us marginalized folks permission to just like live our best life, you know? So,
Mhm.
how did you tap into that and find that and give that to yourself?
Hmm. I want to say first that this did not come naturally because after years of being programmed into the system of medicine, and I was spit out to be a specific way to now go practice medicine. Um, that was hard because I didn't see anybody else immediately around me doing anything that I was doing
Right,
at all. Nothing.
right.
um,
So cunty.
so cunty. I had to first have a conversation with myself and realize that I am not supposed to be following the path that everybody's supposed to be following.
Wow.
Even even at my residency program, my class, so the group of us that graduated all in 2018 together, I was the only Black
Mhm.
woman. I was
Wow.
the only foreign medical grad because I went to medical school not in the United States, which is a whole other thing as well too. So I was
Right.
already different, othered. I was already.
Mm.
So it's like, okay, Kim, why not just lean into that a little bit more?
Lean into it more, like, that is so incredible because a lot of people would go the other way and be like, I'm sticking out all the time. I'm tired of sticking out. I'm just going to do the damn thing that everybody else is doing and try my best to like fit in and all the things." So how I love I'm it's just genuine curiosity of how you led yourself down such a like empowering path. It's incredible.
Well, one, I don't think I've ever thought about it like that. So thank you. Um,
Yeah.
and then so one, I think it was just that one inner conversation that I had to look at it as I was already there anyway. I'm already
Mm.
the only anyhow. But then as I finished residency and then finished, I saw other Black women physicians doing something similar. So doing something that I was attracted to, starting their own businesses, talking about
Okay.
things that were not inside of medicine, branding themselves, going live, posting,
Mm. Mm.
selling, doing other
Mhm.
things. It's like, so that was like, ooh, what's that? Like, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was going, but I knew I just
Right.
followed that light. And then that's actually how I found out about
Wow.
coaching. Um,
Wow.
there was a coach in the Black medical community that really helps people to I don't want to use the term that he used, but really to step into their own light and to empower themselves as physicians to not necessarily have to practice medicine all the time. I really resonated
Right.
with that message and his message. So I was attracted to him. I started getting coached. And that's what really moved me. So I worked with
Wow.
him. I ended up hiring a media coach who was also a physician as well too.
Wow.
And so that's what got me into where I'm going because I started to see other people around me that were cunty as well too, showing up as
Yes.
themselves authentically and just doing the thing.
Yes.
And I'm like, "Okay,
Mm.
then I've got this." So it was that community that started to align around me that also gave
Mm.
me the power to do that as well too and show up in a unique way.
Mm. Did y'all hear that, listeners, viewers? Like, you cannot do this alone. It's
Mm-mm.
a community thing. And coaches, like, coaches are a guiding light. Like, there is so much power in finding a coach that you resonate with, finding a coach that is like has done the thing that you're looking to do, is leading the way, is showing up in a way that you're so interested in. Like, that is so powerful. And I think a lot of us probably who are coaches probably had an experience like that at some point, right? I think also about my time as a doula and as a student midwife. Like,
Mm.
most people came to those professions because they had been so deeply impacted by a midwife or a doula in their own life. And I think coaching is so similar. So I'm grateful that you shared that with the community, because a lot of people have some hesitations or concerns or whatever. Like, what is a coach? What are they going to do for me? What is it all about? How would you answer that question? Of like, why should I get a coach? What is it gonna do for me? What is it all about?
A coach is somebody that sees your higher self
Mm,
and constantly
yes.
calls you to that
Yes.
person.
Mm,
And
that's powerful.
and structures your actions to help you to
Mhm.
get to that person, to
Right.
reach that ultimate goal, to reach that ultimate desire that you have.
Mm,
Coaches hold belief in you when you can't hold belief
mhm.
in yourself.
Ooh!
They see you when you
Mm,
can't see yourself.
mhm.
And I think the best
Yes.
thing, and of course about the business side of it is that we have a prescribed specific plan to help you to get there. It's
Mhm.
not some wishy-washy woo-woo thing all of the time.
Mhm.
But we
Mhm.
have taken the time to do the inner work, to do the processing of what we've experienced and package it up and offer it to you so that you don't have to go through the same struggles that we have. So you can bypass a lot of different things and get to where you
Yeah.
want faster. You're able to use our pain and our
Mhm.
experiences to propel you towards your pleasure and away from your pain as well too.
Mm. I love that, and that ties right back into what made you start Sherwood as well. So,
Mhm.
that's so beautiful. Thank you for that answer. I think that's gonna bless somebody today for sure when
Thank
they
you.
hear this. Um, so I see we have a few minutes left, and I want to hear a story. You've shared a lot of your story, which I'm so grateful for, and is gonna really impact someone today for sure. What decision are you currently facing that scare sights you, that is challenging you, that is, you know, calling on your inner cunty to come out and propel you forward?
Wow, this feels full circle because I feel very much like you were
Mm,
feeling back in August when I think when we met each other. CUNTY
wow.
coaching, you told me, was really just born last year, and from Side Hustler to CEO, my business coaching program has evolved very quickly in a very short period of time. Mine was just born in July, so 2 months before we met each other. And I had just
Wow.
that month that we met, like I was just starting to work with my very first clients when we were at the intensive. So now
Amazing.
things have grown very rapidly. In the business, I have amazing clients that are
Oh,
getting results. But
yes.
what kind of scared sighting me is, one, I have big goals for the business to make a $500,000 this year. I have big things that I
Yes.
am launching in order to get me there, like my own podcast, the Docs Get Money
Woo!
podcast. Yes, and
Yes.
having
Yes.
master classes. So it's me really showing up and standing in my light this year and being heard and
Mhm.
being seen. Again,
Mhm.
I think after, because I went through a place of hiding because it's just like, what am I doing? Where am I going? What so
Yes, that burnout,
that's
right?
the burnout. And then also, like I said, starting a business as a new entrepreneur, especially as a new coach, transitioning from something else,
Yes.
this is
Mhm.
still very new and unsure. So being
Yeah.
able to say like, okay, I'm starting my own podcast. It's about talking about getting money. I have to face my own money issues. I have to face my own
Yeah.
thoughts. I have to be really authentic to myself, and really true and
Yes.
being very vulnerable. So that's I'm
Mhm.
excited because I know that this is going to be fire. Like I saw my podcast
Yeah.
art. I'm excited. I've already started interviewing people. But it's
So
scary.
exciting.
It's scary because
Yeah.
I'm very much like the conversation that I'm having with you. Medicine ain't it. This is bullshit. Like, and everybody knows it. Everybody fucking
Right.
knows it. And but nobody's
Right.
saying it. And so I'm gonna be the one that's saying, hey, so we all know that medicine is bullshit. Let's do something non-clinical. Let me show you all the different ways that
Mhm.
you can get to the bag without walking into the hospital.
Yes.
And
Yes.
that it's exciting, like I said, because I'm just like, but then it's just like, what are you guys gonna
Yeah.
say about me? I don't know. I'm on
Mm.
this board. I still have this MD on my name. Like, what is this?
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
Oh, girl, I am so excited for what is about to unfold. I think you are going to provide a light for so many people and doctors who feel maybe trapped. Maybe they feel like they didn't have any other options, or they feel like they're working like 80-hour weeks and they have no idea how they're going to do something else. Like, you are going to change lives, and that's so exciting. And I think when people know that they have options, even just that can be game changing, right? Like, even just that idea of you don't have to rely on your medicine job to be wealthy, to get your money, to get your bag. Like, you don't have, right? And when you take that pressure off and you see your options, I imagine that's going to lift a huge weight off of so many people.
Yes, because that's all we've been told that we know how to do. Um,
Mm,
all because you
mm.
spent so many different years and also
Years.
too
Mhm.
years, and then also our families, especially if you're Black, brown, or first generation
Mm.
into medicine, your family has invested years in
Yes.
believing in you that you are the
Yes.
doctor of the family. So now to say, I don't want to do this shit no more, they're
Yeah.
like, what? What's
Yeah. What do
happening?
we do with this? Yes.
What do we do
Mm.
with this? So I want people to feel encouraged and
Mm.
feel empowered and know that, yeah, there's other of us that are doing it out here, and I'm still practicing for now because I enjoy doing it, but very soon when I
Mhm.
don't want to or don't have the time to, it's okay, I'll be able to put it down, but it's a skill set that I know
Yeah.
that I'll always be able to pick back up. So,
Yes.
be
Yes.
free to just do the thing. You only get
Mm.
the one shot at this, just enjoy your life, have a full life experience.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that's so good. And I think that identity piece is going to be huge for people. I remember, first of all, when I decided to go into midwifery, my mom was crushed because she's like, "What? Why don't you just be a doctor? You can be an OB. Like, just do the doctor thing. Why are you gonna go be a midwife?" I'm like, "Ma, they're different. Like, I'm telling you,
Mhm.
they're different." So I went through, like, again, like a whole identity thing with that. And then when I decided not to pursue midwifery halfway through my schooling journey, I had no idea who I was, what I was doing on this earth, because I had put all of my eggs in that basket and
Mhm.
have like, and I was like, that is my identity. Like, you eat, breathe, shit, like it's all that. Like, you spend years. I don't even know if people like, we don't realize how much we identify and how deeply ingrained we identify with something until we like have a chance to step back, or if someone like gives us an opportunity to be like, who are you outside of
Right.
the thing that you're so deeply enrooted in. So I think that's incredible, and I'm so 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 excited to see the transformations that continue to happen. I'm so excited for your clients, for your future, current, future, all the clients,
Thank you.
all of the abundance coming your way. I'm excited for you.
Thank you. Thank you, Naomi. I'm excited for my clients too because they are getting all
Yeah.
this work. They are getting this work right now. It is money making March over here at from Side Hustler to
Yes.
CEO. My clients are working on
Yes.
signing their very first clients. My clients are
Mm,
creating such amazing things into the world, and they're
mm.
having all of the normal feelings that new entrepreneurs have. They're scared, they're nervous, they feel exposed, they're embarrassed, they all of it. But
Yeah,
it's just like, yes, and
yeah.
that means you're doing that. That means you are doing the exact
Yes.
thing that you are supposed to be doing. I'm so proud of them.
Yes.
I feel very blessed that I found coaching and that I am a coach, that I have decided
Yeah,
to shift into that identity and not to just be a client, but also to empower other people and to be a coach as well, because it's just such an empowering space. It's so beautiful to watch people transform. And I
yeah,
think that's probably what you're probably getting in coaching as well too, especially if you were thinking about medicine, OBGYN, being a doula, a midwife, because it's that transformation.
yes,
It's that
yes.
coming through. It's that the
Ooh,
development
I
that you
got
get to see.
chills. I got chills, which is it means it's true. It is true. It's been a through line the whole time that I never even knew the word coach necessarily, but
Mhm.
it's been a through line the entire time, and it's just this journey of aligning ourselves with our purpose and finding new ways to do it and new ways to share it with the world. So absolutely. I love that we have this like medicine thing in common. I'm not a doctor, I never was, but it's still I was doing um midwives in Ontario have access and privileges, that's the word, in
Mhm.
certain hospitals in Ontario. So that was very much a part of the learning and the experience. So I know a little bit. I know a little bit of the shit. I know a little bit of it. Okay.
You know a lot more than
So
you think you do. You do. You know a
yeah,
lot.
yeah. And it wasn't it for me either, okay? That's the
Ghetto.
realness, okay? Um, so I wanna know, and the people wanna know, okay? They wanna know, like, how they can get into Side Hustler to CEO, who it's for,
Mhm,
when is it open for enrollment? Can you tell us a
mhm.
little bit about your offerings in the world and how to get into it?
Absolutely. So, from Side Hustler to CEO is my signature business coaching program. It is a 6-month opportunity for historically marginalized doctors. So, let me talk about what I mean by historically marginalized and what I mean by doctors. If you
Mhm,
consider yourself a woman, if you consider
mhm,
yourself a person of color, if you consider yourself LGBTQIA+, if you consider
mm,
yourself neurodiverse or neurospicy, anybody
mhm.
that is not a straight white cisgender male, welcome.
Yeah,
I am talking to
yeah,
you. And then
yes.
as far as doctor is concerned, I am speaking to if you're a physician, if you are a podiatrist, if you're a pharmacist, if you're a dentist, anything in the doctoral level in the healthcare industry, I am talking to you. Pharmacists, like I said, veterinarians,
Mhm.
optometrists, I am talking to you. So if you fall under
Midwives in
and
Ontario,
midwives,
Canada,
yes, and
especially.
midwives, I'm
'Cause
talking to y'all. I am
yeah.
talking to you guys, but yes, I work with you
Amazing.
to start your own non-clinical business. I have specialties in, creating helping people to become coaches. I will can also help you to start your own real estate investment or midterm rental business like I have as well too. I also work with product-based companies. I have one of my clients who I have not talked about enough, who has her own beauty brand, and she is a third year surgical
Mm,
resident as well too. So
mm.
I love it. I love
I
business.
love
I
that.
love empowering businesses, and I love empowering, like I said, non-clinical businesses. So if you're interested, you can head over to my
Mm.
website, kimberlybrownmd.com. We can set up a call and we can see if it works for you, and we'll go from there.
Yes. Yes. Oh, so good. Like that is such a beautiful offering and so clear about who you serve and how you can help them. I love it so much. So listen, whoever's listening, if you meet those criteria and you want to liberate yourself and figure out what your options are in starting your own business, Kimberly Brown, everybody, Dr. Kim. We love you so, so much. This has been an absolutely incredible interview and like an incredible opportunity to sit down and have an honest chat. I love it so much. That's what we're all about here on this
Yes.
podcast. And I any last parting words of wisdom to our listeners or anything else you want to share, but there's no obligation because this was fire.
Yes, it was. My last thing I just want to reiterate is go create what you want.
Yes. Yes, that part.
That's it.
Yes.
Go create
That's
it.
do it.
Do it.
Listen, and us coaches, we are here to help because it can be scary. Like all those things that you were explaining that your entrepreneurs are facing, like that's the realness, y'all. Okay?
Mhm.
Like it's the norm. The not norm is people who walk in and they're like, "I got this. I ain't got no fears. I'm like I you know like I'm it's not the norm. Like the norm is to have doubts. The norm is to be scared, to be like, is anybody going to buy this? Is this legit? Like, so you are not alone. That is the thing. Like, go create what you want, and you are not alone to create it. We are cheering you on. We are here, coaches in the rafters. We are like, yes,
Yes.
come do the thing you love, like create it. And we are so, so here to support you in all of it.
Thank you, Naima. This was a great interview. And yes, the coaches are here to support you and to make sure you get there as fast and as smoothly as
Yeah.
possible. Because why would you want to
Yes.
struggle? Why do you have to struggle? You don't have to.
Yes.
You don't have to.
Yes. 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 So good. Thank you so, so much, Kim. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for
Thank
being on
you.
today. Yay.
Oh, look at that.